Everyone, this is Dave Dubeau here with another episode of the Property Profits Real Estate Podcast. Today, zooming in, we've got a real estate investor extraordinaire, coach, trainer, multifamily syndicator, capital raiser, family man, you name it, Ellis Hammond. How are you doing today, Ellis?
I'm doing well, man. Yes, my daughter's upstairs taking a nap, man. So we got 20 minutes before she wakes up. So we better get rolling.
Pitter patter, let's get at her. Don't wake the kids up. All right, very good. So Ellis, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're at, what you're focused on these days, and then we'll start talking about partnering up with people to scale and get into bigger and better deals.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this conversation because it's been everything for me, Dave. I was a former college pastor here in San Diego, California, and transition kind of out of necessity into the world of real estate. We have grown and scaled our portfolio now to over $100 million. Started with a duplex, and now we're buying large commercial real estate. I actually have an offer in today. This is crazy to even say, at something around $39 million and $750,000 hard day one. And it's just incredible that I'm even in this seat to be able to make an offer like that, because if I didn't even know what $750,000 looked like 3 or 4 years ago, man. So everything has come as a result of, well, God's blessing in my life, but also just the people in relationships that we formed along the way to be able to get here.
Very cool. So what kind of time frame were we talking about? When was that first duplex bought?
We closed on that duplex in 2017.
Wow. Not very long ago, my friend. That is some rapid growth. All right. So you went from a duplex, and then when did you start scaling into bigger deals? How long was that gap, and what did that, how did you jump into that space?
Yeah, the first workshop I ever went to where I even just saw the concept that we could buy real estate, that was in 2017. 4 months later, we bought our first duplex. 9 months later, we partnered on our first multifamily deal, which was 144 units. And so again, I don't want to take a whole lot of credit for that deal because we didn't do a whole lot except kind of leverage our relationships to provide equity for that deal.
So right? You raised capital for that deal.
Raised capital for that deal. So that was kind of our first intro. 9 months later, we learned about, apartment buildings and why I personally believe it was a better investment. Mm-hmm. And then just kind of essentially we borrowed credibility on this side and borrowed equity or borrowed money on this side. And then we brought that deal together.
Very cool. So that's always fascinating for me, Ellis. So if you don't mind walking down memory lane a little bit about that first big deal. I mean, it's not that challenging to raise capital or come up with the money for a duplex, but jumping in 9 months later, and how much capital did you raise on that first one for that?
Well, combined as a team was around $5 million, and I was probably about $500,000 of that is what I brought to the table.
Okay, so again, that's pretty impressive for your first kick of the can. So what was it that you did to raise that $500,000 right on?
Well, Davey, I would say, the people ask me, well, what transferred from your pastor days to your entrepreneur days or real estate days? I'm like, well, the thing that I think has made me successful in both arenas is the ability to communicate, and communicate a vision and communicate value to folks. And then not only that, but just
and maybe explain complicated things in a simpler fashion.
It's exactly right. And then not only that, but building trust along the way. And so interesting enough, the reason I even learned about this world of syndication is because I had put on a bigger pockets profile that I was raising money for our nonprofit, which I was. And I had experience raising money because that's what I was doing as a missionary, as a nonprofit leader, was raising money for our ministry. However, I was asking for $1,200 a year compared to $50,000 to $100,000 per investment. And so I quickly had to figure out, or I guess it was really a mindset thing. It's always between the ears. But I mean, I was used to asking people for money is my point. Right. And so I just honestly, it went to the same people. I expected a lot more to invest, but I didn't realize how difficult it was to transition. Not necessarily they were already investing in stuff, but I had to do the hard work of transitioning my identity from, hey, no, this guy is he's a pastor and now he's investing in real estate. Mm-hmm. That was the real work to kind of change the view of how others perceive me. And
Create that credibility around yourself,
that's right,
especially early on without much of a track record.
yeah, no track record. Let's just be honest, zero track record.
Well, you had a duplex. So let's unwrap that a little bit, Ellis, because that's fascinating to me. So, looking back at that first kick of the can with the 500,000 that you raised, knowing what you know now, what would you do different, or what would you tell that slightly younger Ellis in 2017 about raising capital?
I just don't think there's anything I could have done differently, Dave. I just didn't know enough people. I would say good job. Like what I would tell him again is don't wait so long to do the next one. Try it again. Don't think, oh, that wasn't enough. You got to wait longer. I would say get started even faster on the next one. And so, but then I would feel like I was kind of disappointed, or maybe I felt like I needed some more time to kind of build up track record for our next deal. And I wish I would have just kept going. Maybe it was just 200 grand the next time, and then maybe another 7. You know what I mean? And because what I've seen even this last year is we've done 4 deals since the middle of 2021, and just that volume of transaction puts me in people's mind as the real estate guy, right? Like Ellis has deals, and if I have capital, I know who to call now. And I think that's really significant. And that's been a real key to even kind of raising, we raised $5 million in the last 6 months. And that's just come from a lot of that is just, again, we're way beyond kind of our first degree relationships now. We're getting into second and third degree relationships. And a lot of that is because they're talking to their buddies on the golf course or whatever. And it's like, hey, I know someone you could invest with. I'm investing with them right now. Right. And the fact that we have multiple offerings every couple months has been really key.
That's very, very cool. All right. So rewind a little bit there. So you went from the duplex to the bigger deal. Then you started doing slightly bigger deals. At what point did you transition from raising money for other people's deals to finding your own properties and being the general partner on those and kind of being more in charge? Or is that what your model is?
Yeah, well, we're just getting to that actually. So
what have you been doing up until now then?
All of 2021, I would say we've kind of emulated this code GP model, and we can talk about that, but I think it is the model for those who are really trying to kind of break into this space, is figuring out what you are good at. If it's finding deals, then that's going to be of value to the deal. If it's raising capital and managing syndications, investor relations, or even you're good at finance, or you're, putting together the capital stack, that's what our team is really, really gifted at. Dave, we can raise money. We can put together a capital stack. One of my partners has a lending background, so we understand that finance world. We're really good at the syndication management. We already kind of have that dialed in from our PPM, right, to our legal documents. So that's what we've been able to provide to about 3 other sponsors in 2021 to help them take down some larger assets. So that's what we did pretty much on all 4 of our deals last year. Yep. This deal, but here's the big thing about that. Those 4 deals gave us enough of a track record to now come into that deal I was telling you on the beginning of the show, make an offer where we're going to be the lead sponsor and say, hey, we have confidence to close this deal because we've already done the 4 previously. And again, if we didn't have that track record, they wouldn't even give us a shot to look at this, right? And so I do think this co-GP model is so key for anyone trying to break into the space.
Well, let's take a look at that if you don't mind, Ellis, the co-GP model. So what does that actually mean? And what does that look like as far as responsibilities, and if you don't mind sharing, kind of big picture revenue profit sharing? Wow, that's another fantastic idea. Hold on to that thought for a sec. We'll be right back. Now, are you a real estate investor who's run out of cash or credit to grow your portfolio? Are you looking to grow your portfolio using other people's money and raising capital? Well, I want to show you how to raise 6 figures or more in 6 weeks or less at my upcoming Investor Attraction Workshop. You can get your ticket and find out all about it at investorattractionworkshop.com. We're going to spend a full day taking a deep dive into this roadmap that I've used to raise millions for my deals, and I've helped other people just like you cumulatively raise hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for their deals as well. So again, you can check that out at investorattractionworkshop.com. And as a loyal listener to the podcast, you'll get 50% off your ticket when you use the discount code podcast. That's right. Discount code podcast at investorattractionworkshop.com. See you at the next workshop.
Sure, it's a great question. I mean, it's interesting how this space has kind of evolved into what we've seen to be kind of a cookie cutter form. I mean, you can do this anyways. I mean, the way we carve it out for our investors, right, is the general partner, which is us, the managers of the deal, own anywhere from 20 to 30%, but let's call it 30%, where our LPs, our limited partners, our investors own 70%. So the 70% is already carved out to our investors. There's nothing we do with that. They get all of the cash, 70% of the cash flow, they get 70% of the equity. So what we really have to play with is the 30%. And of that 30%, you can carve it out as best as you like. What I have seen though is 50% goes to the money and, get like having the capital for the deal and even the loan, right? So guaranteeing the loan, putting up the earnest money,
Right.
essentially the money, right?
Yeah.
That's 50%. The other 50% goes to the deal, finding the deal, lining up the financing, and even managing the deal post-close. And so, that's kind of how we've seen it. And so you can carve it out as much as you like in that, but kind of high level, that's what we negotiate. And so, we are kind of carving out equity based on the roles that we have in the deal. We've been mostly on the money side.
Yeah.
So we're taking anywhere right from 30 to 45 or 50% of the general partnership equity for our role in the deal.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on how much money you guys bring to the table. So if the total pool of money for, round numbers is, just for example, $1 million, and that represents 50% of the 30%, right? So that's 15%. And if you guys bring in half of that and somebody else brings in the other half, then you would get 7.5% and they get 7.5%.
Yeah, it's not always that clean one because you can't compensate based just on the money you raise based on SEC rules. So you may work it out somewhere as close to that as possible, but just to be honest with you, you can't really line it up like that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also doing other roles too. Like for example, I mean, my team on all those deals today are on those property management calls. So
Right.
We're assisting.
You're investor relations, and you're
doing investor relations, right? We're helping with the process of the PPM and putting that together. So we may get more than 7.5%, even though let's just say we raise half of that million because we're participating in other activities. Because it's not just raising the money; it is managing the investors, right? It's putting together the PPMs, kind of going through that process. Ongoing reporting is really key to these deals. And so, but that idea is correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. All right. And Ellis, just, as we're kind of wrapping up the conversation, I'm always curious as to, I know you guys are now at the stage where you're starting to get out into secondary investors, people that your investors know, second and third level contacts kind of thing. But going back to that, reaching out to those first level contacts, what kind of recommendations do you have for people on how best to do that without coming across as, dialing for dollars, cold calling, Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing? What are your some of the tips around that? Because you don't seem like that kind of guy to me.
No. So it's just funny. Someone asked me the day, again, like what's translated from pastor to real estate entrepreneur. And when I was a pastor, and even still today, like my faith is very important to me. And I think a part of having faith is you want to share that faith with others. And I think that's also one of those rooms, right, where it can seem like, most people don't want to share their faith because they don't want to seem too pushy. Well, I've always thought if I have something of value to share with someone, I want to share that with you. And it's not that I'm being pushy. And if you choose not to receive that, that's okay. But if it's of value and of importance and it's made a difference in my life, I want to share that with you. And I think forming that mindset and that belief is true when raising money. We have something of value to share with our investor base and to the world. I mean, 95%, that's probably a low number, of folks in America don't have access to these private placement offerings, and they don't have access to an opportunity to build wealth very fast because most of the product they see is from a financial advisor who cannot show these type of opportunities. And so I would say just understanding the value proposition that you have is first really key. And because when you feel like you're the one that needs something, then you come off as either timid or creepy, or like you really want something and you're not trustworthy, versus if you come in saying, hey, no, I'm of incredible value, I have something to share with you, you have to listen to this. It's a totally different conversation. And I think that confidence and that mindset is really the best advice I can give to someone. See yourself as a person of value. And I mean, they're of value as well, but it's mutual and it's not one-sided. They don't have all the value. You don't have all the value. It's a mutual, you're on even ground here. Yeah. Maybe you're a little bit higher, right? Because right now money is a lot easier to find than it is opportunities. Right. So that's what I would share.
Yeah, no, well said. And I would imagine your years as a pastor have definitely done you in good stead. Who would have thunk back in the day when you're busy taking care of your flock, so to speak, that someday you'd be jumping into deals and raising millions.
Not me, Dave.
Right? But hey, man. But you know what? That is it's a really good lesson that, hey, virtually anything you did before real estate can translate if you take the lessons from it into what you're doing with real estate investing. So I think you've explained that beautifully. And again, congratulations for your success. It's well-deserved. And if people want to find out more about you and what you're up to and your different business ventures, what should they do, Ellis?
Yeah, thanks so much, Dave, for the opportunity. Please visit us, symphonycapitalgroup.com. That's symphonycapitalgroup.com. That's our website for our investment firm. So like I said, we're pretty active in this space, man. We probably have a deal a quarter at this point for folks who are looking to invest alongside us into kind of larger multifamily deals. And then, man, honestly, the best place to follow me right now in terms of just what I put out is Twitter or YouTube, but just search my name, Ellis Hammond. And that's probably where I put out kind of a constant stream of thought is on Twitter. So come hang out with me on Twitter. I would love to connect with you. And again, appreciate the opportunity, Dave.
All right. Very good. Thanks very much, Ellis. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode. Well, hey there. Thanks for tuning into the Property Profits Podcast. If you like this episode, that's great. Please go ahead and subscribe on iTunes. Give us a good review. That'd be awesome. I appreciate that. And if you're looking to attract investors and raise capital for your deals, then I'm going to invite you to get a complimentary copy of my newest book, right back there. There it is. The Money Partner Formula. You can get a PDF version at investorattractionbook.com. Again, investorattractionbook.com. Take care.